Well, hello, folks. Welcome to another What is Ken Up To? And today we have a fun project that I want to show you. I have had this vertical garden here behind me for about 3 years, I think. And I really do enjoy having that. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in depth about that in just a moment. But today we're going to plant that up for spring, and I've got basically three different things I'm going to put in there today. I've got some herbs, I've got some flowers, but then really the main focus of this video is that I have strawberries, and I have strawberry starts, or another word for them are bare root strawberries. And a couple months ago I did show you my strawberry box that I have on the other side of the yard. I've had strawberries in there now, the same ones for this will be going into the fourth season. Those also were strawberry starts. So I want to show you how I get these and what I do to kind of prep them and get those planted. They're very easy to do. They're very economical. And I'm going to have a lot of fun today showing you that. And again, like I told you, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this. This is the Garden Stock brand. I've had this for about 3 years. And I really do like having it. And it's a great way if you have a small space or you just want to add some capacity to your garden. It's a great way to do that. So we'll get started here right now. So let me first show you the setup of this vertical garden that I have. I have the Garden Stock brand. Had this for about 3 years and I really do like it. You can find these online. A lot of the gardening supply online stores have these, and Amazon and all. And what I really like about their system is they have a lot of varieties that you can buy. The one I have here, you can see, is 5 tiers, and each tier has 6 different compartments, and each compartment is about 7 inches deep. And down there you see Betty on the left and Patch on the right, getting some much needed sunshine. So again, what I really do like about these is they have different accessories you can get. I've got some wheels at the bottom of mine, although I don't really wheel it around much. It is convenient. And the way I have this hooked up to the watering system, which I'll open up the top and show you in a minute, it's just a tube. It comes with this accessory here. If you get the kit, you can also buy extra. It has a valve at the top. And then I have it just into my intake of water that goes into my raised bed. So I have the raised bed portion going to this side, and I have the vertical garden going that way. Very easy to set up. Of course, you can move these anywhere that you want, but I usually keep it in this area so you can get another shot here. It's right next to my raised bed, which is going to be my next project after I do this. But let me show you how this works here. So the water comes in at the top right there. And what's nice with the valve here, you can set how much water, how much flow that you want. And I'll just get this out of the way. And so the first tier is really just sort of the reservoir for the water. It comes in here and then it drips down to this hole. And then for the first tier that it has under it, you can see there are these little weep holes here, these little drip holes. And you always want to line these up with the area here that you're going to put the plants in. So each one of these pockets. So let me take this one off if I can. Everything locks into place really well. So here is what each tier looks like. And again, mine are 7 inches deep. And I have figured out, there's Barney right there. And I have figured out that they hold about a half cubic foot of soil. So that kind of gives you an indication of how much soil you'll need for each tier here. So if you've got a 5 tier like I do, that is 7 inches deep, about a half cubic foot is suitable. So as you can see, they've got holes in the bottom here. So that way you have drip holes in case it gets overwatered or you get rain. Then as you take the next tier off, I'm going to show you the bottom of these. You can see they have these little clips here, and those go into these areas here and line up. You can also see they alternate. So that's how you can get into here later on and plant something, although we're going to plant things up today from the start, which is a little bit easier. So as the water goes down, what makes the system so much better than everything else goes down the center, goes into each tier has a tray. Now that top tier, the tray was the reservoir at the top. You can see there are the same little drip holes here. Always important that when you put this tray in, you line up the drip holes with each pocket, so that way each plant is getting a suitable amount of water. So each level is like this all the way down. And when you fill this up with soil, you simply put this here, which I'll show you in just a bit as we start to do that. And you just make sure that you never get soil into these trays, because that'll clog up the drip holes. So if you're ever adding plants or soil to one that's already existing, let's say you already have this planted up and you want to add a little bit more soil to it, a little bit more plants, I always take this off and I will cover this with something, whatever it might be. You know, maybe, you know, a little piece of duct tape, or stuff something in there. And the reason is you don't want soil falling into there, because what will happen, it'll then fall into the drip tray below and it will clog up these holes. So always keep that in mind. But today, because we're kind of starting from new, we are going to plant these up separately. Now, what I did the day before is that I opened up all these different tiers, and I got rid of all the soil in there. It was all compact. There were some herbs that are just dried up and other things like that. And I just wanted to make sure I was going to start fresh today with fresh soil. The other reason I wanted to get rid of the soil is I thought maybe some of it I could still use, but I found some worms in there, and not the kind of worms that you want. They're called Asian jumping worms, sometimes called Alabama jumping worms. There's other names for them as well. And I'll put a picture up for you so you know what they look like. They're kind of a chocolate brown color, and they kind of look like earthworms, except they have a light color band towards the head. And I guess they're becoming very invasive, especially to larger crops and to even forests, where they get in and they go after the roots and they destroy the roots of the trees and the plants. I'm not really worried about them here so much, but once I saw that, I thought, you know, I'm just going to get rid of all the soil, just because there's not any of the worm eggs in there or anything else, or what, however, larva, whatever it may be. I'm sure I'll have to do that to my raised bed over here as well. I know that the raised bed, I probably have grubs in there also. So always good to start new. Soil is expensive, of course, but as I said, each one of these tiers hold about a half cubic foot. I already have enough soil, so I'm not too worried about having to fill these back up. So here's the soil that I'm going to be using today. I already had this on hand. So I've got pretty much a full bag of just this Patio Plus organic. This is a standard potting soil mix. And then I got a couple bags of this Stay Green garden soil. Now, normally you don't want garden soil in raised beds or containers because it can be quite dense. It's much better just putting it into the ground. But you can see this is that garden soil. It's quite fluffy. It does have a lot of forest product in it, meaning wood product, but it's going to be fine when mixed with this for what I need. And then, of course, the fertilizer that I'm going to add to it. So I've got plenty here. I've probably got about 3 cubic feet altogether. I need about 2.5 cubic feet, so I'm good to go there. Don't need to run out and buy more soil. So here is the main cast of players that we're going to be needing today, besides the vertical planter that I showed you. The top of the tier, I always like to put herbs. And here I've got some oregano, a couple kinds of thyme. I like lemon thyme, and then just a regular thyme here. And then something I've not planted before. This is called Fino Verde basil, and this is like a miniature basil leaves. And I'll see how well I do, because usually basil grows quite tall. The leaves are a lot bigger, and they probably would not do well in this vertical garden. but I think these might. So this will be fun to try. But I always try and get herbs that I use a lot. Over here, we just have some petunias here. These will go on the bottom tier just to add a little color, and they're actually a tri-tuna mix. So there you are. They're just standard petunias, but just a different mix of colors. I've got a couple different fertilizers here. Plant tone, those will be for the flowers, and then the garden tone will be for everything else. And there's also one called Berry Tone, also made by Espoma. The main difference is difference from the Garden Tone is that it has a little bit more sulfur in it. But I couldn't find it in the area, and to buy a whole bag of that just for really one use for the strawberries, I didn't really feel was necessary. My other berries, my boysenberries and blackberries, I use more of an acidic fertilizer because they like a more acidic soil. Over here, that's my scoop. What this is an ice scoop, the kind that restaurants might use to go into the ice machine. And I got that quite a while ago. You can find it on Amazon, but I use this for soil. It is fantastic, especially when filling up pots. And then, of course, the main focus of this video today is really planting the strawberries. And a few years ago, I bought strawberry starts. That's what these are called, sometimes called bare root strawberries. And showed a video a couple months ago about setting up my strawberry box for this year. The ones I have over there are now going into their fourth season, and they will give strawberries really several times throughout the year. These are what's called everbearing, and that simply means that you can get strawberries on and off for months at a time. In fact, I've already got some strawberries off those other plants just the start of this month. So they had buds on them in January. Of course, that depends where you live, what kind of weather. I'm in Southern California. So I get these from a company called Park Seed, and Park Seed is also affiliated with Jackson Perkins, who are known for their roses. I got several of their roses. And I think this is the same ones that I got before. I'm not sure, but you can see these are the Fragaria Eversweet, if I'm pronouncing that right, strawberries. Again, these are everbearing, so I will be able to get strawberries for quite a length of time. The June-bearing ones, by the way, will give you a flush of berries for maybe, 6 weeks to 2 months, and those are great if you need a bunch of berries at once. Maybe you're into making strawberry jam or something like that. But this is what suits me best. And they come packed this way. They actually came in a plastic bag, all moist and ready to go. I got these about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Wasn't quite ready yet, so I just put them in a pot with some extra soil around them and kept them moist for a couple weeks. And I will show you how I separate those. So as I showed you just a minute ago, the strawberry starts come really packed in some soil and a little bit of straw in there as well. And they arrived in a plastic bag. And I ordered these, as I said, from Park Seed. Now, first thing I want to tell you is make sure if you're ordering strawberry starts like this, get them from a reliable source. Park Seed is fantastic. There's other ones as well. Don't get them on Amazon or Wayfair or anywhere like that. You don't know which ones you're getting. You don't know if you're getting the variety that they say. But most importantly, when you order these, which I did back in January, you can put in your region and your zone of where you live. And what's going to pop up, it's going to sort of filter out just the berries that are good for your area. And that's really important. Then from there, you can choose what type of variety you want. If you want everbearing, as I said, that are going to give you strawberries for months and months and months, or what they call June bearing, which will give you strawberries for a short amount of time, maybe 6 weeks to 2 weeks. There's also hybrids now that are sort of in between them, but you can really get a lot of information of what is right for you. You're not going to find that on Amazon or anywhere that just sells, they're selling pots and pans and all kinds of other things. Go to a place that specializes in seeds and plants and berries and things like that. So I've been using Park Seed for a while. I also order some seeds from there sometimes, but they are really good. They are a great source. So I'm going to show you how to separate these. Now, you got to do this kind of carefully. There is a rubber band around them right now. And as I said, I got these, I don't know, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And what I've been doing is just putting them in some water, keeping them moist. I packed some, I think I packed some soil and a little bit of straw I had around them, and that kept them moist. I kept the plastic bag that they came in sort of over them. I made sure there was vent at the top. I cut a large hole because it's been kind of warm here. But then once you get these, you can see they just separate out. And you've got to be somewhat careful here because you want to make sure that you don't destroy the roots. I'll show you the back here that you see here. Normally you get about 20 plants. That can vary. Maybe you'll get 18. Maybe they'll say you're going to get 20 and you get 22. Last time that's exactly what happened. I got more than I really needed. But see, you just take these out very carefully and individually, lay them out, and then we'll be good to go. Pockets to fill. And I've got more than that. So what I have here, you can see these are all really nice. I've got 18 of those, so I am good to go. Then sometimes you get ones that are, a little spindly or don't really have any leaves on them yet. And I've got, about 4 more of those. So in total, I got about 22 plants, so more than enough than I need. By the way, sorry about the bright sun and then the shadows. It's just in the morning here and just the way the sun is coming in. I can't really control that much, but I'm ready to get these planted. The first I'm going to be planting, because I'm going to go by tiers. The lower tier are going to be the flowers, the petunias there. Then the tier 2, 3, and 4 will be strawberries, and then the top tier will be the herbs. So that's how I kind of like to do it. Although this is the first time I've ever put strawberries fully into this vertical garden. I have put some in before. I had an extra plant and they did fine. So I'm hoping for the best with these. Okay, so I've changed my camera position here a little bit because I was like half shade, half sun. Now I'm all in shade, which is fine. I think that's going to be a little bit better. So this is going to be the bottom tier. So therefore, I am going to be putting the flowers into here. And I'm not going to show you everything that has to do with this, because I'm sure many of you have planted flowers before. But, I'm going to take my soil here. I've, got a scoop. I told you, I figured out this is about, I would say about a half cubic foot of soil for this one. And again, this is a 5-tier, 7-inch deep tiered system here. You can get different sizes. So I know they have one that is 5 inches. You can add tiers to this if you want. Whatever you want to do. I think this is really about 5 tiers is probably adequate, because that way everything's getting enough water. I've had this long enough to know that the system really does work, and it is on my sprinkler system. As I showed you, it's connected to the same connection that goes to my raised bed, and everything gets plenty of water. You would not think that maybe the lowest tier would get enough water, but it does. Now, of course, certain times of the year, you are definitely going to need to supplement that, which I do. During the hottest part of the summer, I will go around and just walk around this and then spray water into there. But you have to do that with just about any plant, just depending, where you live and how hot you get. So I'm going to continue to put soil in here, and then we'll get those flowers in. And one thing I want to tell you that is kind of important, that I think that people do forget, and not only put your fertilizer in, and in this case, this is the Plant Tone one that I'm using because it's just flowers, and I'll, put a couple good handfuls in here. and mix that in. But the other thing I want to tell you that I think a lot of people, it's a step that people really do forget, especially if you live in a slightly warmer climate and or planting things during the summer, and that is to got up in my nose there. It's good stuff though. May not smell great, but it's fantastic stuff. But always pre-moisten the soil, and that's going to give your plants a head start. You know, if you live in an area maybe like, during the summer you get a lot of rain, like in the southern states or in Florida or something like that, maybe that's not quite as important because you're going to get rain in about an hour anyway. But it's really a good idea to do that because it gives everything a head start and just get those roots up and going. Even if you're using seeds, always moisten the soil. You don't want, if you're doing the little seed starting, you have those little trays and those little pods to put the seeds into. You don't want the soil to be sopping wet. You just want it moist, and you would use different kind of soil anyway. You'd use a finer soil, but that's really important to do. So I'm going to put a little bit more of soil in here to get this up, and then I'll show you that the level that you want it is when you put this tray in that I showed you earlier. It's going to come to the bottom of that tray. You don't want it any higher than that. Otherwise, when you go to put all the other tiers on, what can happen is that soil can get into the tray itself and then clog the little drip holes, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put a little bit more soil in there and then get the flowers in. By the way, when you're putting plants in here, any kind of plant, make sure you get them close to the edge in these vertical gardens, and that is because once you put the next tier on, these are going to kind of peek out. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 2 inches of clearance here once you put the next one on top. So get these as close to the edge as you can. Don't worry about the roots are going to move inward towards, where the soil and all the main moisture is. But if you do it that way, it works fantastic. I've put, of course, I've put herbs in here over the years. I've put onions in here, spring onions, green onions, and of course flowers and a few other things. Some things did a little bit better than others, but then where I have this here, it's how way the sun hits it. It gets morning sun over where I'm standing on this side, and then as the day progresses, the sun, of course, comes up over towards the west, and so then the other side of this gets the full afternoon hotter sun. And even though I do have this on rollers and I could rotate it, I don't because I have the water system attached to it. I guess I could rotate it, reattach the water system each time, but I don't really find a need for that. Everything seems to be just fine. So again, a little bit more water here, and then this tier will be ready to go. Get that water in there, and of course put the tray in here. And then what I'll do, I'll put this on the very bottom, and then we'll move on to the strawberries, and I'll show you that. Well, okay, I've got my soil in here, and I've got my fertilizer. Again, I am using the Garden Tone for this. If you want to go ahead and buy the Berry Tone, there's other brands as well. I just like using the Espoma brand because most of it I can easily find. Couldn't find the Berry Tone, so I went with the Garden Tone. The main difference, as I said before, Berry Tone has more sulfur in it. So you could even add, excuse me, a sulfur amendment if you wanted to. I don't really find a need to. So again, got the bare root strawberries here, the strawberry starts as they're also called. And I am just gonna stick those down in each pocket. And again, really nice. I have 3 tiers, 6 pockets each for the strawberries. And I have 18 really good starts here, and then 4 not so good ones, which I'll probably end up just putting at the top with the herbs. So I'm going to get these in here and then kind of backfill them with a little more soil if I need that. And these will be good to go. And then I'll move on to doing the other tiers of strawberries. I'm not going to show you every tier because obviously it's all the same. But Hopefully these do really well. I think they will. I haven't put a lot of strawberries in this before. As I said, I had a couple strawberry plants in here that I had left over from when I did from the strawberry box, but also somebody else gave me some starts as well. Hey, I've got all the strawberry starts planted in, but before I move on to showing you the herbs, which is the top tier, first, it turns out once I got into these a little bit more, I probably had about 25 of these. So I got some bonus ones. I'm going to put those in with the top ones with the herbs. And something I want to show you here, I might get a little closer to the camera. And if you look here, you see this coming out from the side that kind of looks like a twig or something. Really what that is strawberries put out runners. And when you're doing something like my strawberry box or something like that, you don't need to pack quite as many in because they are going to run right at the top of the soil and then plant themselves, plant roots down, and then spring up more strawberry plants. Now, in a vertical garden like this, that's a little bit less important because we're only going to have these little pockets here where they're going to be growing out of. So I'm not too, worried about that. But so what I do is when I plant these in here, I just plant them down, sort of downward with the roots. One other thing I want to tell you, you've probably seen before, if you're in planting centers, maybe you're at a center that does a lot of garden pottery and containers. You see those strawberry pots where they're usually clay pots. Sometimes they're brightly decorated and they've got those little pockets all around the edge. Basically, this is the same principle. It works the same way. I love those pots. I've never gotten one. We go down to San Diego. Maybe about once a year we go down to Old Town, and they have some of those markets in there where they have that beautiful pottery and containers and all, and they have those in there. And I remember years ago seeing that, and that was kind of like part of the idea of getting a vertical garden like this to use for all kinds of different plants. So strawberries are done. We're going to move on to the herbs. All right, so I have all my herbs ready to go here. I just decided to keep using this table. It's just a little bit easier. So again, I've got this this basil I've not planted before. It's called Fino Verde basil. It's an organic basil, and much smaller leaves on here. So I'm interested. Basil leaves can get 2 to 3 inches large. I'll see what happens with this. I've never seen, most basil plants, even when you buy them, when I was at the garden center earlier today, the standard basil, the leaves were already large on them. So I'm interested to see how this performs. If it just stays small like this with small little leaves like this, I think that is fantastic. I'm looking forward to, smells great, to using that. And then I've got oregano, I've got lemon thyme and standard thyme. And then I got those bonus starts, strawberry starts that I'll put in here as well. And I'll get to doing that. And once these are all in here, I'll show you that in just a moment. The garden stock vertical planter is all planted. You can see at the bottom there, those are where the petunias are. The next 3 tiers, we've got our strawberries. The top tier, we have herbs. And then I've got my bonus strawberry starts there. We'll see what happens with those. Those were mainly just the roots, but we'll see. I chose to put the basil on this side because basil does like morning sun, not necessarily really hot, blazing sun. And because we're right underneath the balcony here, that side pretty much stays in shade as we get to the harsh afternoon sun. And then I've got the oregano there and the 2 different kinds of thyme on this side. Again, on this side here, this is the eastern side, that gets more of the morning sun. And then as the day progresses, during the afternoon, the sun comes from over there, right over the house, and then really strong on this side. And so these will kind of be a little bit more in the shade as we get to the hot afternoon. So that should work. Now, the only thing that needs to be done is you put this top on. Oh, by the way, this top tier here also serves as both the water tray for the top tier, I should say this top reservoir here. And this already has, it's got the holes in it as well. And once you click this in, it automatically lines up with each one of these pockets. As I said earlier, when it comes to those water trays in there, you want to make sure to line up the holes with each pocket. So put these on here and we'll be good to go. By the way, I'm using these new microphones that my son Ollie got me for my birthday. So thank you, Ollie. These are the Hollywoodland brand Lark A1s. And you can barely see them here. They're the size of like a little chiclet of gum. They're magnetic, so they stick on really easily. Unlike my other ones, I had these little clips that I never could get on properly. Come with 2 mics and windscreens if you need them. And then, of course, the module that hangs on to the phone, and USB-C cable and a little case that they charge up in. So let me know. I think they sound pretty good. Well, all right, folks, thank you for watching another What Is Ken Up You. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If you're interested in getting one of these vertical gardens, I really do like having these. Again, if you want some added space, that's what I needed. I kind of ran out of room to plant herbs and things like that. Or if you have maybe just a very small area, a small patio, these can be really great for growing a variety of things. Mainly strawberries, of course, but also herbs. Or if you want to just stack this with a bunch of flowers, you get really nice sort of a tower of flowers and it looks absolutely beautiful. I did that somewhat last year, but it works really well. So we'll keep an eye on this. I'll show you the progress of it. By the way, I did kind of figure out my strawberries I have over in the box over there. This is now the 5th season that I had them. Each season I get more and more strawberries. Usually the first season I didn't get that many. So we'll see how these do in a vertical garden like this. Again, we'll keep an eye on them and give this a try. If you want to grow your own strawberries, getting strawberry starts are the best way to go. I think for the pack of these, which I ended up having, I don't know, 24, 25 of them, it's probably like $20, maybe $22. And of course you pay for shipping. So maybe it was $30, but that's, 20, 22, 24 plants. If you go to the garden center and buy one strawberry plant, what are they? Usually about $4, maybe even more. So kind of multiply this, that would cost me somewhere in the neighborhood of $80 to maybe $100 to get the same amount of plants. Now, if you just have a small space and you just want to grow one strawberry plant to give it a try, that's fine. The other option is strawberry seeds. You don't even want to go there. The seeds are micro size. Look at the outside or the outside of a strawberry. Guess what? Those are strawberry seeds. So you can imagine planting those. I tried that once in little seed trays. I will never do this, never do that again. This is the way to go. So start of the spring here. I hope you get your garden going as well. Leave comments down below. Tell me what you're doing. If you have any questions, let me know and I will gladly answer them for you. Thank you again.